Hey everyone, my name is Chandra Sherman and I am here in the middle of a blonde video sandwich to talk to you about hashtag ATV and this exciting new highly duplicatable process that we're going to offer you guys the opportunity to use within Team Legacy. And so this is a 3-part video series. So Amber is first with A, which stands for add. I'm in the middle with T, which stands for tag. And Angela is the third video with voice message. So if you haven't seen Amber's video yet, check that out. And then when you're done here, make sure you check out Angela's video on voice messaging as well. We're trying to make this as very, very simple as possible to train yourself and for you to be able to train your downline and people as they join your team to be able to do this as well. So now you are at the stage where you're ready to tag someone in the group. So the question is, what are you going to tag them in? Right? Well, it depends on why you're adding them. So what is the answer to the first step? Why are you adding them? Now, I'm sure there's tons and tons of ways and reasons you can do this, but we're sort of breaking it down to 3 groups. The first is when you have current customers or clients who have questions. So I'm a super process improvement person, so this is really exciting for me. If you have those questions that people ask all the time and you find yourself constantly spending 5-10 minutes at a time answering, whether they are, I don't like the flavor of Slim, and you spend the time telling them all the things they can do to make it taste different, or if people ask, why doesn't probiotic fat need to be refrigerated? All of those questions that we get all the time. There are posts that answer those questions in the Health and Happiness Tribe for you to use. And so when your customers ask you that question, it behooves you, not only because it's a time saver for you, to tag them in that post in the Health and Happiness group instead, but here's the brilliance of it. You are showing them, even if they're just a customer, not just a customer, even if they're a preferred customer or maybe a wholesale customer, you're showing them that they don't have to be experts. They don't have to know it all in order to share these products with other people, because what you did, you simply tagged them in a post when they had a question. So if they share these products with other people and they get a question they don't know the answer to, they can do the same thing. So it's really hopefully going to be very empowering to help people be willing to give you referrals and or start their own business, whether that means just 3 people and going silver or shooting for the stars. So that's one way, current customers who have those frequently asked questions. The second group is sort of the attraction marketing group. So you're doing your thing, you're talking to people, you're wearing your Plexus swag, you're posting on Facebook, you're posting on Instagram, all those things that you do to try and attract people to you. So you receive a message that says, all right, I'm curious, what is Plexus? Or maybe it's a more specific question like, hey, why should I need Plexus? Or I have, pick something, diverticulitis. Would Plexus help me, right? And so I know when I get those open-ended questions, I panic because I'm like, oh my gosh, I could spend 4 hours crafting up a message and then have to shrink it down to something small so I don't puke Plexus all over them. And so that's another great group that you can add, tag, and voice message in this group. And there are posts specifically ready for you to do that in the Health and Happiness Tribe. Now, the third group is what we call cold messaging. And so those are people who you have not talked to about Plexus before, and they didn't come to you about Plexus. And the way that I intend to use this cold messaging is, for the most part, when people complain on Facebook, which I don't know about you, but in my feed, there is no shortage of that. And so I'm going to start to keep a list. And when I see someone complaining about migraines, I'm going to write down their name and write migraines. And when I see someone complaining about joint pain, I'm going to write down their name and joint pain. And then when I sit down to do my IPA that day, I'm going to add, tag, and voice message them in the Health and Happiness Tribe on a post that has to do with gut health and migraines or gut health and joint pain. Okay, so those are sort of the 3 groups of people, of reasons why you're going to tag them. So how do you tag them? It's really very simple. And before I tell you exactly how to do it, I just want to make sure and reiterate, Amber and Angela may say this as well, make sure that you are prepared to do all 3 of these steps in one fell swoop. You don't want to add somebody, tag them, and then go switch to the laundry, right? You have to make sure that you're completely ready to add, tag, and voice message all in one fell swoop. So the adding is easy. You figured out who you want to add to it. Now you're here, you want to figure out what you're going to tag them in. You need to know that answer before you add them so that you're ready to do it all in one fell swoop. So when you go into the Health and Happiness Tribe, there are 2 ways that you can do it. There's a little search bar on the left, and you can put any keywords in there that you want. But there is also on the right-hand side, there's keywords or topics. And you'll see their little gray ovular buttons. And you'll see one says Plexus Slim, and it might have a number after 11. And then one will say frequently asked questions, and there'll be a number 9 under it. And what that means is that the admins of the Health and Happiness Tribe who have revamped it to serve specifically for this purpose, in addition to still doing what it's always done, which is meet the needs of our current customers, we as the admins have gone through and picked out the posts that we think are most ideally fitted for you to use in response to those words. So I would recommend, if you can, to use those topics. Whereas if you're looking for, a slim post, if you click the slim button, you'll find the post on the different flavors in slim. You'll find all the information that is pertinent about slim and the most frequently asked questions. Is there caffeine in green coffee bean? Those sort of things. If you put the word slim into the search bar, you're going to get every single post that includes the word slim. And that could be just someone using the word slim in a comment. So that's sort of the difference. Do whatever you like. You will, as we continue, sort of the real workhorse of this transition has been doing those topics, because it's a lot to Health and Happiness Tribe has been here a long time. And so there's a lot of content, and we're adding new content as we see that things are needed. And so going through and adding those topics has been a little bit of work. So you'll see that those numbers are small now, but they will continue to grow as we use this in the new way as we move forward. So if you have someone that comes to you and says, what is Plexus? You go in the search bar and search nutshell. And you will come up with 2 or 3 posts that are very short, very concise. What is Plexus? And you tag them. Now, here is sort of the how-to when it comes to tagging. I know it seems silly because we all tag people all the time, right? But this is a very specific process, okay? So here's how you do it. You tag them with their last name only. And if you've never done that, super simple. So if I was gonna tag Angela, she has 3 names. When I type Angela, it comes up blue and it says @Angela Faith Harry. All you have to do after it comes up blue is delete the middle and the last name, and it will just say @Angela. And there's a really important reason behind this, okay? And so, especially if you're doing cold messaging. If they're already clients and they're in the Health and Happiness group, this is a little bit less important. But if you're practicing attraction marketing and someone reaches out to you and asks you, what is Plexus, and you add them to this group without them asking to be added, or if you just say, oh my gosh, I saw you, talking about migraines on Facebook, I really wanted to add you to this group, Angela's gonna give you the words. But you're adding them to a group essentially without their permission. And Angela's gonna teach you exactly how to do that from a very sincere and kind place that works. It's sort of brilliant. So be excited for that video. But you are adding them to a group without asking their permission. And so we want to be sure that we're being very kind and that we're respecting their privacy. So one of the ways to do that is by only using their first name. Now, the other thing to think about, and this is really important, if the person has not publicly talked about them having some sort of disease or issue, please don't go into the Health and Happiness Tribe and tag them in a post of that content. And so let me give you an example. I have a girlfriend of mine who all of a sudden on Facebook, I started seeing these messages saying, Allie liked this group, Allie liked that group. And it was a list of 17 support groups for fibromyalgia. Now I know that she's been struggling for a long time. And so obviously she's just found out that fibromyalgia is what she's been struggling with, and she's searching for some answers. Now, I don't know if she probably doesn't know that stuff is public on Facebook, that when you like a new group, it gets notified. She didn't make a post. She hasn't talked to me about it. So it would not be kind and respectful for me to add her to the Health and Happiness Tribe and tag her in a post about gut health and fibromyalgia. Even if I only use her first name, it's still really presumptive to do that. So if you're going to do a cold message like that, make sure that that person has either confided in you personally or they've been public about it. And again, I don't know about you, but I'm at no loss for people complaining about feeling sick on my Facebook page. So you'll have plenty of people to do that with and for. And again, Angela's gonna give you sort of the keywords to make sure that we're doing it in a very kind and respectful way. So you're gonna tag them, you're gonna only use their first name. The other thing is, do not put your pitch in the comments. Don't write Allie and then 4 sentences about why she should read the article and why Plexus is great for her. Just tag her name, and then you can make your pitch in the voice message. Again, that Angela's gonna show you how to do, okay? The other thing is, be really careful about how many times you're tagging people, especially if you're doing a cold call or a relationship marketing. 2 tops. I recommend 1, but if you feel like there are 2 that are really important, do that. But do not add someone, tag them 10 times. on the first time you've added them, okay? So you wanna be really careful about that. Do your best, especially if you're looking for a testimony or you're looking for a gut health and sort of article, do your best to find one that's gonna make them feel a certain way. Now, if you have someone that's a super, super green, then of course feed into that and give them something really meaty. But everybody else, give them something that's gonna make them feel a certain way. Give them an article about, that will connect to the way they want to feel, right? People make decisions based on how they feel. And so do your best to find that sort of article and then tag them in it. And I think that's it. So Amber taught you how to add, and then once you know that you wanna add the person to the group, come into the group, find the perfect post for them, make sure you're ready with that post, tag them in the post, and then immediately voice message them, tell them that you did it, tell them why, that you care about them. And then here's the coolest part, sit back and let the group do some of the work for you. Let that group continue to drip on that person. Let the group continue to talk to and educate that person when you're not, so that eventually, when they decide that they want to jump in and try something, you will be there to be the one that helps them. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, make sure you saw Amber's video before mine, and make sure you check out Angel's afterwards. And I'm really excited to see what becomes of this, see what happens, start hearing feedback from you guys. I'm super excited about this new way to move forward in our business. This is gonna hopefully help fill your funnel so that people keep filtering through and becoming customers and joining your team and changing their lives. So thank you for listening.